Our hour has arrived and we are going to call to order the special agenda for the Lander County Commissioners meeting, Town Board of Battle Mountain and Austin, Board of County Highway Commissioners for November 25th, 2019. And before we begin, we're going to ask you, remember to mute your cell phones for us. And we welcome everyone and wish you all a beautiful, warm Thanksgiving week. Safe travels if you're traveling. Would you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance now, please? Commissioner Allen, would you hand us with our salute to our flag, please?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now if you would join us in a moment of silence, please. Thank you so much. Lander County Commissioners may break for lunch from 12 to 1:15 p.m. Any agenda item may be taken out of order, may be combined for consideration by the public body, and items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. We're going to begin with our Commissioners' reports on meetings, conferences, and any seminars attended. And Commissioner Allen, I'll start with you again.
I have nothing to report.
I do not either.
Anything for you?
Yeah, I didn't have any meetings, but I want to congratulate Lyon County. On Saturday, they made history. Yarrington High School won AA football. Fernley High School won AAA high school football, and I think that that's a real testament to what they're doing with their Boys and Girls Club, with all the skill building programs that they have. It's starting to work, and hopefully Battle Mountain will catch up.
Thank you. On November 12th, Senator Rosen's staff actually was making one of their rural tours, and they stopped through in Austin and to greet a few people, and they did bring us a very nice put-together booklet on veterans, which was very, very good. And so we kept a few copies to pass out to folks in the American Legion and Kingston. On the 15th, we did have a NACO meeting. Actually, Mark Johnson, who is right now, of course, a professor of the University of Reno, on Channel 2 News, I see he's resigning the end of June, but he came to the NACO meeting to tell us a little bit about what happened in the legislature and why Cooperative Extension was not getting any additional funding, and we have not had funding for some time with the extras that they've been asking for, but the problem seemed to be the Board of Regents. So if the Board of Regents isn't recommending it, certainly the legislature is listening to them too. So it is kind of a catch-22 here that we're going to be looking at, and of course the legislature won't be meeting for a couple more years, but next year some of them are up for election, so we'll be looking at that and hopefully get their attention, because the recommendation will go in while some of them are still considering running for office. So we're hoping that will come out. Along with that, with Cooperative Extension, I also wanted to report the gentleman that the nominating committee had chosen just advised us last week that he was not able to move to Battle Mountain. So we are starting all over again from square one, and we will be advertising and interviewing again for our education director for Cooperative Extension. Also back on NACO, they do have a workshop coming up on the 5th of December, and that is the laws that have been passed in the 2019 legislature, and that will be held in Carson City. On the 18th of November, we had kind of an exciting ribbon cutting at our Austin school, and we have broadband and fiber optic. We've had so many false starts, and we've never been discouraged, but we just kind of wait and see, and like it's really working, and I understand from Patty, there's a nice article in the Bugle on it, she covered it too, so that's the first. And they put in a lot of extra fiber, they assured us that. They had some demonstrations with the 3D glasses on what they can do with the videos and the internet and everything. It was really right up to, when they say technology, it really was technology for us. They also are telling us that they will have the connection to the library finished for us, and they're hoping that will be no later than January. So the other thing is they put in enough fiber optic for us to hopefully entice some private companies coming through that will be available for all of the citizens in Austin. So it looks like we're on the very first part here, and that is exciting. I did attend an NNRDA meeting it was kind of a special meeting that we did by telephone to actually approve Pershing County being part of our NNRDA. The economic development they've always belonged to has been Highway 95 and Fallon, and they just felt that they were more in tune to what was happening on Highway 80 and the north part of that economic development authority. So we voted to allow them, and then that will mean that all of our new charter will be redone with our contracts and should be before us next year for us to approve everything, and Pershing will be the new part of that. And GoEd was very instrumental in approving that for us. On the 21st, there was a Kingston board meeting. Our fire chief, Lance, actually attended the fire school, fire workshop, and that was through a grant made available, that we made available through LEPC, which was wonderful. And of course, they're getting ready for Santa and a big craft show on the 8th of December. And that's all I have. So we'll move into staff reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended. Keith.
All right, I just want to report that the wind machine is up and running at the Battle Mountain Airport. So hopefully that'll get the data we need in order to save or get some funding for that crosswind runway. I received word Friday that we are going to get an additional $2 million from the FAA for budgets, or for projects. More information to follow on that. Once we get more information on it, but we did get an additional $2 million. So something to think about for our future projects is that money. Last year, if you'll remember, we attended a meeting at the Department of Taxation, had to do with our county city tax waiver. They were waiting for an opinion from the Attorney General's office. And we are scheduled to go back December 9th to hear that opinion. So once I get that, I will report it to you on our county city tax waiver. That's what I have.
Thank you. Move into public comment. This is for non-agendized items only. Persons are invited to submit comments in writing and or attend and make comments of any non-agenda item at the board meeting, if any, and discussion of those comments at the discretion of the board. All public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person, again, at the discretion of the board. Reasonable restrictions may be placed on public comments based upon time, place, and manner, but public comment based upon viewpoint may not be restricted. Do we have any public comment this morning?
I need to come up here.
Please. Good morning.
How are you? My name is Lenny Shepherd, and I just got a request for maybe a project for the county. There's a Pioneer Cemetery out at Hilltop, and the fence is all dilapidated, and it's gonna disappear if somebody doesn't put a fence back up. And it's on county property. It's not on, it's right behind their gravel pit, and I think it's probably my dad said that he first saw it in like the late 40s or 50s when he's flying, and there's a trail goes to it. There's somebody put a fence up, but I think it's probably might be a Native American cemetery. And it's, cause, was one marker, and a guy picked that up about 30 years ago, gonna make a new one, and he never did, but I got it back. And there was 3 more markers there, and there's some stones, but my dad said when he saw it, there were some beads and spiritual things that I think Native Americans put on there, but it needs a new fence so people don't run over it. And it's on county property. I would have done it, or I would do it, but I'm not gonna be over where somebody's buried and dig a hole and what that. I think that's up to the county since it's their property.
And where's this?
The one marker says 1904 on it.
Wow.
So, and it says Big Ed. So unless somebody's first name's Big. So I'm just requesting they do something about it.
Thank you. We appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
So
Thank
Keith,
you, Lenny.
Keith, is that something that you can have Bert look at to make sure it gets taken
Yeah.
care of before it gets destroyed?
That sounds like something that's historical too.
Pardon?
Historical.
Well.
We need to preserve these things.
Sure. I don't know if there's anyone alive that knows.
First I've heard of it, now I know there's one over there, but I didn't know there was one on this.
Well, this one here is kinda on a sand dune and you can look all 4 directions. So that's kind of a
Okay,
spiritual thing, I think.
I appreciate that, Lenny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and if they want me to guide them to where it's at, I'll
Yeah.
show them, and I have the board, maybe Ron with his forensics can see what it says.
Thank you.
Ron probably knows who Big Ed is.
Any other public comment this morning? Okay. Move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine, may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action, without extensive discussion. Any member of the board or any citizen may request that an item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Consent agenda materials are available at the Lander County Clerk's Office for viewing, and copies are available for a nominal charge. Number 1, approval of the November 25th, 2019 special agenda notice. Number 2, approval of May 23rd, 2019 meeting minutes. Number 3, approval of June 27th, 2019 meeting minutes. Number 4, approval of July 11th, 2019 meeting minutes. Number 5, approval of July 25th, 2019 meeting minutes. Number 6, approval of October 10th, 2019 meeting minutes. Number 7, approval of October 24th, 2019 meeting minutes. Number 8, approval of November 7th, 2019 meeting minutes. And number 9, approval of payment of bills. I didn't see any meeting minutes. Is there anything else anyone needs to pull out? Okay, then I will ask for an approval of number 1 for the agenda and number 9 for the payment of bills.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Judy, seconded by Kathy. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that passes. Move on to Commissioners. Number 1. For possible action to approve or disapprove proposed ordinance 219-02 initiating the dissolution of the Lander County Combined Sewer and Water District, number 2, General Improvement District, and its Board of Trustees. We've had some previous information, of course, that we've been acting upon as we go along. And this one is actually for the approval of the proposed ordinance. It's not the ordinance yet, because we have to have a hearing first, which we will be doing. But I do need the motion for us to go ahead with the proposed ordinance. Did you all have a chance to look at that? Is there any questions that you have on it? Counselor, any comments?
Yes, we have to read it by title in the motion. So the proposed ordinance must be read by title. So if whoever's making the motion.
Okay, we don't have to read the whole proposed ordinance,
Oh, no.
just the title. Okay, thank you.
All right, I will make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2019-02 An ordinance initiating the dissolution of the Lander County Combined Sewer and Water District Number 2 General Improvement District and its Board of Trustees, providing for written notice of the proposed dissolution to property owners within the Lander County Combined Sewer and Water District Number 2 boundary, together with the time and place for hearing on the dissolution and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
I'll second.
Thank you.
And
Motion was,
Commissioners, you will notice that on page 4, we have to put the dates on these things. You just read in the title, and those are contained on page 4 on 1, 2, A, B, C, and D.
Okay, do I need to read that, or what?
No, I just wanted to point out that they're contained in the
Okay.
proposed initiating order as
Thank you.
required by statute.
motion was made by Commissioner Allen and seconded by Commissioner Ancho. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and that passes. Number 2, Commissioners, for possible action to approve or disapprove the Board of County Commissioners to add a commissioner on the Livestock Events Center Board. Keith?
So, when you did your assignments, last year, the board did not exist. Recently, it's been brought back to life with board members, so we need to put someone on there. You need to assign someone to the board itself. I was gonna wait till January, but they're doing meetings, so I think just to keep everything up, it would be a good idea if somebody was assigned.
Okay, to finish out the year.
Yes, and then you'll do assignments in January again and see where it goes.
Okay,
And I wouldn't be opposed to being on that.
okay. Thank you for volunteering, Commissioner Allen. And do we have a motion then?
I'll make a motion that we appoint Judy Allen for that spot for the Livestock Event Center Board.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Been moved and seconded. Moved by Kathy, seconded by Judy. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
So noted for the record, one opposed. Number 3, Commissioners, for possible action to approve or disapprove the county manager to oversee a Christmas festival, to discuss any and all possible events and any monetary needs from the county.
So I asked that this be put on there. Had some people come to me and asked if we could do some Christmas lighting at the park and different things for the community. On Saturday, the 7th, they do the Christmas parade, and it gets the community involved, and I asked if we could do something at the park. We've tried it before, where you do a Christmas lighting, you have s'mores, different things. The choir, the high school choir, would like to come and perform, and so I brought this up to see if, without using any county funds, if we could use, when I originally asked about it, would be interest, like off of net proceeds, or if there was any grant monies or anything out there to pay for this stuff to kind of bring our community together at Christmas. And excuse me, I'm trying to think, the chamber is going around to all the businesses and trying to get the businesses to decorate their windows and do a contest and like that to try to bring the community together, some different stuff for the kids at the park. So I sit on the board right now for Christmas Alert. And so I'm always trying to push anything and everything that has to do with children and Christmas. So, yeah, so I was the one that brought this to Keith and asked if this was and boy, we're gonna be part of the float for the Christmas, the county. There's a lot of people within the building that are jumped right on that and are willing to do the float, and we've been working after hours and stuff like that. And I'm so proud of everybody that just jumped right on this, and we're so excited about doing that from the county. So thank you for everyone and they're just excited, and it's fun. And so there it is, kind of in a nutshell.
Okay, we do have a slush fund, of course, for emergency things, right, Cindy? Do you have any idea?
There's
what kind of-
other ideas for that instead of the slush fund. Keith
Yeah,
can.
we've got some ideas we're still working on, but we have money in other areas.
Do we have any idea how much we're talking?
We're looking at initially around 20,000, but that would probably carry over into the next year or
For
two.
lights and s'mores?
Oh, gosh, there's
Okay,
lots.
Yeah, there's many other things that are going into it.
What we're doing in this, Elquist Park is we're wrapping the trees, the bottom of the trees and lights. With the tree, then there's like 22-foot tree
Mhm.
for the light ceremony, things and the different ornaments, some new ornaments that decorate the community in different areas, but it's all, like I said, it's not taxpayer money.
Right.
And, had some grant areas that we were looking at, so I would never, ever ask for money that was coming from the community, so.
And that's overall, there'll be a mix of, like Commissioner Anschel said, there'll be some grant money, we're looking at some other things.
And some money left over for next year to
Yes.
doing different
Oh, yeah.
stuff too. You know, we, just every year kind of do add a little bit to it. This is the beginning of the first year, so it sounds really pricey, but every year, add, a few things to it to try to, just to make it a pretty Christmas and get the community involved.
Great idea, Kathy.
I
It's for the
think it is,
community.
I think it is too. It sounds really exciting to kick everything off, but I have a problem making a motion when I don't know how much money and where it's coming from. So can we just kind of generally agree that it's a good idea and you bring it back for the final?
Well, I trust Keith's judgment. He won't overspend.
Whatever you guys would.
Well, and because, there's stuff that we've already, started to move, because it's so close to getting to Christmas, to get some of the
No,
stuff.
I'm
in.
okay with that, but I mean,
I can give you a.
Oh, so where it's
I
coming
don't mind
from?
like ratifying it. What I'm saying is
Okay,
to have a motion when I don't know how much
Kathy,
and where it's
make your
coming out.
motion up to.
Okay, so, alrighty, so I would like to make a motion to approve up to $20,000 for the Christmas festival.
But we don't know what fund.
Second.
we'll, Cindy and I will bring it back to you once we sit and talk about it, Cindy and I.
Well, I have a question about timing. So this would be, you'd like to have the lighting on the 7th?
Actually, the lighting will be in the park on the 6th.
Okay. If you bring it back, we're not having a meeting till the 5th.
That's why
So we're kind of time-wise here.
Well, if you're gonna ratify, if you say we have this up to 20,000, I'll bring you a final dollar amount next Thursday at our regular meeting. But that will give us the authority to move forward on some things, and I don't think it'll be anywhere near that. Like I said, this is gonna be, this year, the initial purchasing of many of the items, and then we'll be moving into the fall.
Because, next year you won't need
Yeah.
any of that stuff, because we'll
Right.
have everything left over. But like the little white Christmas, for an example, some of the stuff would be like the little white Christmas trees that you put in the park, and you have the a couple of fire pits so the kids can do s'mores, and we have volunteers that will oversee that. The wraps that go around the tree, the actual tree itself, trying to think of everything else that was on that list.
The tree itself,
Yeah, we've got an artificial tree, it's like a 22-foot tree, and then you do it's already lit, so the kids can't take the lights off, it's already lit.
We have the tree or we need to purchase the tree?
I think do we have it?
We're waiting for it.
We're waiting
yes.
for it.
But it's one we're going to buy.
Yes, so that's one of the initial large purchases.
Yeah, that's the
It's
biggest
that
one,
tree,
I think, the
But it'll be
biggest
good
purchase.
for years.
So, and it's just, it's nice, and what's really nice about it is it really brought the people in the courthouse together on wanting, not just the courthouse, but the rec center, everybody very excited to do this, and it's a lot of fun to watch it, because they're all, has chipped in together, and it's been nice to sit back and watch everybody kind of giddy about all these really cool ideas, so, kind of turned out nice. We're gonna have, I think, one of the community clubs doing hot chocolate and cider, and so.
Okay, so it says the county manager is going to oversee this, but I take it you're going to work with him very
Absolutely.
closely, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think there's a Christmas movie on TV that doesn't have a town lighting.
Right?
So I think we're going to join them all.
Exactly. Hallmark movies, guys.
Okay, Kathy made the motion, Art seconded that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we do need to get someone on the phone. Sadie, if you might,
Come and help us.
yeah, help us maybe. The next item I will read in. Commissioners for possible action to approve or disapprove proclamation 2019-02 to declare November as Hospice Month. And the one we're waiting for on the phone is from Genesis Home Health and Hospice, and they're the ones that asked us to do the proclamation.
Join this Verizon ringback tone while your party is reached.
Genesis Home Health, this is Travis.
Hi Travis, it's Kathy Ancho, Lander County. We're trying to figure out how to get you on the phone, the speakerphone, to stay with the other parties that we have on there as well, so bear with us.
Okay.
Somebody now can ask if both people.
Michelle, are you on?
We're here.
Okay.
Okay, and Travis, you're on, right? Travis?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, very
Okay,
good, thank
good.
you.
Okay, thank you. We have read this into the agenda to approve or disapprove the proclamation that you've asked for. The sad part is November is almost over, but we still appreciate what the proclamation stands for and how important hospice is to all of us, especially in this community when we're starting our new Agape hospice program. So with that, is there anything that you wanted to add before we take some action on this?
If I may, I've got a proclamation I'd like to read.
We have a copy of the proclamation. Do we need to read that in for the minutes?
No.
I thought
Okay.
we had to read
Yeah,
proclamations.
we have it, it's in our, it's in all our
Oh,
information.
you do have to read the proclamation.
What?
You said it does have to be read.
Yeah, we have to read it.
Yeah,
Okay,
like resolution.
but we have to read it in, Travis, in our motion. So we'll go ahead and take care of that for you. Like I said, I'm sorry it's so late, you won't be able to advertise it, but it is important enough, and at least it will be in our records and such. So with that,
I will make a motion that we approve proclamation 2019-202, proclamation stating, whereas home health care services provide high quality and compassionate health care services to more than 5 million Americans annually, especially in times of community or personal health care crisis. And whereas 90% of Americans want to age in place and home care is the preferred method of health care delivery among the disabled, elderly, and chronically ill individuals eager to live independently in their own homes as long as they possibly can. Whereas home health care services allow families to stay together and provide for greater health, dignity, and comfort in our communities. And whereas home care in the U.S. is a growing alternative to hospitalization or other institution-based forms of health care for acute and chronic illnesses, providing care to millions of Americans each year. And whereas 2 million everyday heroes, including home care nurses, therapists, and aides, will travel almost 1 billion miles in 2018 to deliver care and work tirelessly to provide professional support to millions of Americans in need of quality health services. And whereas these dedicated home care professionals and volunteers form a support network that continues to play a vital role in healthcare delivery for our nation's disabled, infirm, and aging population. Whereas Genesis Home Health and Hospice, the National Association for Home Care and Hospice, and thousands of home care agencies across the U.S. have declared the month of November 2019 as National Home Care Month and are calling on all Americans to observe these occasions with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Lander County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim November 2019 as National Home Care Month in Lander County and encourage the support and participation of all citizens in learning more about the home care and hospice concepts of care for the elderly, disabled, and infirm. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause this seal to be affixed, and authorize the chair to sign.
A second.
Thank you. Judy read the proclamation and Kathy seconded that. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you.
Even though I'll probably use hospice someday.
Thank you, Travis. Are we all set?
Absolutely, thank you so very much. We appreciate you guys.
We appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Travis.
you.
You're welcome.
What do we have to do to disconnect that?
You can just hang up, right?
I think if he just hangs up,
Okay, thank you.
is Austin still on?
Austin, you still there?
Still here.
Thank you. Okay, we didn't disconnect her either. Number 5, Recreation Center, for discussion and possible action to approve or disapprove a request from the Battle Mountain All-Class Reunion to be allowed to have a free day of use for their children on July 25th, 2020.
So, Sean
What's your
Baker for
name?
the record.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
This is actually an agenda item from Sandra Torgerson, but I had to put it on here for the all-class reunion is asking for the rec center to be free for all the kids on the 14th, I think, of July. or
July
15th.
25th.
Huh?
July 25th.
July 25th. So, but I need your guys' permission to have it open for all the kids.
Okay, the question that I have just for clarification then, it isn't just for the reunion children, it's an open day for all
It
children?
will be open for everyone,
Age,
10 and up. Well, so
what? Now I am confused.
4 and up.
4 and up. But, so kids that are under 10 have to be accompanied by an adult.
Right,
So one of the discussions we had was, one of the discussions we had was that the parents were just gonna drop their kids off and it was gonna become a babysitting service. But in our rules and our bylaws, they have, any children that are under 10 have to be accompanied by an adult
And 4-year-olds have to be accompanied in the big pool.
in the big pool, yeah, and in the big pool,
okay, so adults will pay,
yes.
because if they have children, but,
What I think we ought to do, Patsy, honestly, is it should just, if it's gonna be a free day, it should just be free for
Make
anyone
it a
that
free
day.
day. And
I
then-
agree with that. I think that.
Because it's
Yeah.
gonna be for all the, it's a community event for people who live in Battle Mountain.
Then the
Okay,
person
now-
that usually collects money can be a lifeguard?
Yes,
Help
they're,
out,
they're
yeah.
all certified lifeguards, from the
Okay.
reception on down to the lifeguards.
let me check with legal, but the way this is on the agenda is for young children only. So, Counselor, do we need to re-agendize, and perhaps if we're thinking about a free day for everyone?
Well, it's pretty specific, it's asking for a free day of use for their children. We could put it back on next Thursday.
Yes.
And be
Everybody happy
specific
with
to what
that?
you're asking
Yes.
for.
And I'll be a little more prepared, I'm sorry.
We're happy to re-agendize for that.
But I
Okay.
have a question, just like you said, that it being a babysitting, because I'm going on in the park all day and the kids left, to be on their own. Now, are they understanding that they have to have somebody there accompanying their children? So they,
Yes, and, I mean, when they sign a waiver on there, it says any children that are 10 and under have to be accompanied by an adult. So a parent who brings their child in, which, and we will clarify this and make sure it is known to everyone in the park at this time. But they are signing a waiver saying that their children are above the age of 10, and if they're not, then they are under the understanding that they have to be there with their children.
Okay, and I'm for it to being a free day for everybody, but not just for the organization.
Right, it's for
Right.
Battle
As well,
Mountain, for
too.
Town,
Okay,
Battle
yes.
Mountain, yes.
Okay,
So we'll re-agendize it that way.
all right.
So I'm just kind of curious, how many kids can you have that you have to, I mean, say, I take my kids to the rec center and I got 12.
12 kids?
Just hypothetically here, it's not a one-on-one thing, right?
No.
I mean, logically, so we're not gonna have Susie babysitting all these kids and being responsible for, 10 kids, one adult supervising 10 kids under 10. Do you see where I'm going
Yeah.
here? I mean,
So
how
we'll
do
have to make a clarification on that, on relation-wise too. So,
You ever have a situation where a lifeguard is supervising more than 10 kids in a pool?
No, usually we have 2 lifeguards on deck as
Okay,
well.
so
though.
you have 2 for 20?
Yeah, and usually there's 3. There's 2 on the big pool and 1 on the little pool.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that, you know, you don't end up with, you know, a situation like that, that one person is, you know, overseeing all those kids, cause you know, you get 10-year-olds or under and they're everywhere.
Right.
It's hard to watch them all.
No, I agree. So, but let's re-agendize this, and then I'll have some more info, and I'll even bring Sandra so she can explain what their ideas are for this day, and we'll go from there.
You gonna have any, well, that'd be 4th of July, never mind.
Okay.
I just say if you want, but I don't know as though you really need to
Okay.
really
But
get too far in depth, cause we pretty much know what the concept is now. We just need to re-agenda it to change the verbiage.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you,
So
Judy.
this may be the reason that we're starting, but it still would be agendized for a free day.
Right, for the town of Battle Mountain. For all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let you work out the agenda, we'll see you again.
Okay, thank you.
Keep up the great work, Sean.
Thank you.
Number 6, Battle Mountain Volunteer Fire Department, for possible action to approve or disapprove an increase in the monthly stipend for the Battle Mountain Volunteer Fire Department Treasurer Secretary from $150 to $235, and determine an effective date. And I think in the backup it says per month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're on under for the record.
I mean, this isn't per day or per year.
No, this is per
Okay.
month.
It was per month, we
Yes,
want the
ma'am.
clarification. Okay, thank you. Ron, go ahead.
Well, this is, was brought up by the, fire chief and myself. What we'd like to do is increase the salary for our secretary treasurer. It, has been $150 for, I wanna say, well over 10 years. And the gentleman we have in there now has done a great job for us. He goes above and beyond, he keeps up on everything. He's got a lot more filing to do than we have, and we'd just like to increase it if we could.
I will
And I
make,
believe the backup is in your packet.
It is, thank you.
I will make a motion that we increase the monthly stipend to the Battle Mountain Volunteer Fire Department Secretary Treasurer to $235 per month, and to make it effective immediately.
I'll second.
Okay, are they paid on the first of the month, or do you want them to pay immediately? It doesn't help whether it's the month of November or not, I guess.
Pardon me, Pat,
For
second.
their first the first payroll.
So maybe the first
Yeah.
of December?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, Judy made the motion, Kathy seconded that. Any other discussion?
Can I clarify? They are paid out of the second pay period of every month.
I can't hear you.
They're paid out of the second pay period of every month.
Okay.
Sorry, Cindy Benson for the record.
So we're gonna miss it this month?
Yeah, probably.
Can you make up for it in December?
Well, I would like to, if at all possible, I would like to see it done as of July 1st, because we did not budget for that kind of an increase for this year.
It's, you wanna wait till July 1st of next year?
Yeah,
Started in January?
no, July 1st,
Oh,
because of budget.
Well, I understand the budget part, but I don't think there's that much of a difference that we can't make it up out of something, so,
Yeah, I
I'm okay with the motion effective, for the
If you
first
have a
of December.
problem, come back to us and, but I think $235 a month's reasonable.
Okay, Judy made the motion, and it would be
Thank
effective
you.
the first of December if we pass it, and,
I second.
Kathy seconded it. Any other discussion?
Now, this, for clarity, in December, he'll get paid $235
Yes,
because we're too late for this pay period.
right.
Okay. Yeah, aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that passes. I'm sorry, Cindy, some more work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Appreciate it.
Well, she's doing what she needs to do. She keeps keeping us on target. Number 7, community health nurse. For possible action to approve or disapprove the Lander County Community Health Nurse to give flu shots to the community members free of charge on December 11th, 2019 and December 12th, 2019. These vaccinations are without charge only during this 2-day period. And my understanding is because we actually ran out of the serum, is that correct?
Yeah, so Brandy's not here, she's back east visiting family. And we received 300 additional flu shots the day after the flu pod that were ordered and were supposed to be here prior to that. So this is just an extension of the flu pod for 2 days at no cost to community members. They'll just have to go to the community health nurse office.
And it's an additional because we ran short, not because we're doing it twice.
Yes.
And I don't think Austin did run short. I think we're okay there, right?
Well, yeah, I believe she went down prior to the flu pod itself, so she had plenty of
Yeah, so I
vaccinations.
think we're fine there. So
But if you
just-
need more, we'll.
Just the Battle Mountain, I think, that we're concerned
Alright.
about, yeah.
So I guess one of my questions here is, obviously, we have a reporter from the Bugle. Do we have any plans on how we're gonna let the public know that it will be available?
I was gonna get with Patty a little bit later after the meeting and talk with her, and we'll post it around town as well. Like where we post our agendas, we'll put something up as well.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Lander County Community Health Nurse to give flu shots to the community members for free of charge on December 11th and 12th, 2019.
I'll second.
Thank you. Judy made the motion, Kathy seconded that. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and that passes unanimously. And we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break.
That's funny.
We are calling our meeting back to order and starting with agenda item number 8. Assessor, for possible action to direct the county assessor by resolution to publish the 2020-2021 secure tax roll prior to January 1st, 2020, and for resolution 2019-13 to include the option of mailing or publishing the tax roll as prescribed by NRS 361-.300. One of my
Yes.
questions was, Kate, are you leaving?
She's coming.
Michelle, are you still there?
Yes.
It says the line's still open.
Morning, Laura.
Good morning, Laura Duval, assessor.
Thank you. One of my questions was, and I didn't get an opportunity to pull out the NRS on it, are there any other options? Are you allowed to do anything else, even in addition to it, like email, put it on our website?
It does go on the website. The tax roll has gone on the website for over a decade now.
But we still have to either mail it out or publish it, right?
No, we just publish a notice that it's available, and then we put it on the website.
Okay, so we no
Yes.
longer have to list every single one of them in the paper?
No,
Okay.
they abolished that several years ago. We just have to publish this is to publish the notice that the tax roll is complete and available, and it'll be on the website, and then we send a copy down to the Austin Courthouse, the Austin Library, the Battle Mountain Library, and then our courthouse. There was just a copy on the counter and then on the website. And then the notice just goes in the paper that says it's just a legal notice that says it's complete and available.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate the clarification, absolutely. Okay, is somebody ready to make a motion and read the resolution in?
Yeah, thanks, Patsy. All right, I will make a motion, we approve resolution number 201913 of the Board of Lander County Commissioners. Summary is a resolution directing the county assessor to prepare and publish a list of all taxpayers on the secured tax roll in the county and the total valuation of property on which they will severally pay taxes pursuant to Nevada Revised Statute NRS 361.300. Whereas Nevada revised statute requires the Lander County Assessor to be directed by resolution of the Lander County Board of Commissioners to prepare and publish the secured tax roll annually. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lander County Board of Commissioners does hereby direct the Lander County Assessor to prepare and publish a list of all taxpayers on the 2020-2021 secure tax roll in the county and the total valuation of property on which they will severally pay taxes pursuant to NRS 361.300. And be it further resolved that the Lander County Board of Commissioners does hereby direct the Lander County Assessor to cause such list and valuations to be published on or before January 1st of the fiscal year in which assessments are made, to publish a notice in the newspaper of general circulation that such list is completed and open for inspection by interested persons of the county, to publish the list of valuations at a public area of each public library or branch library within the county, and to publish the list of valuations on the county website. Passed and adopted this 25th day of November 2019.
I will second.
Thank you. Judy made a motion for the resolution, and Kathy seconded that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Passes, and now the work begins on where,
Patsy, you've been skipping public comment.
I don't have to take public comment after each one.
Oh.
Actually, I'll clarify that. The very beginning, if you read the very beginning, it says public comment, will be accepted, but we don't stop for public comment and do it separately. But it is available after anyone, if somebody wants to come forward and make a public comment.
All right.
Thank you, Judy.
Patsy.
Here we are, number 9, Building Department. For possible action to approve or disapprove the service agreement with RHP for the Lander County Recreational Center, HVAC maintenance. And this is a renewal?
Anna Panola with the building department, yes,
Any other changes on it, Anna?
exactly the same.
Okay, thank you.
Everything good, Ted?
Yes.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the service agreement with RHP for Lander County Recreational Center, HVAC maintenance.
I'll second.
Thank you, Art made the motion, Kathy seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Number 10, Public Works. For possible action to approve or disapprove the water line alignment for the Battle Mountain Airport line. Good morning.
Good morning. And just for the record, I have with me Aaron Martinez from AM Engineering, and he will probably do most of the presenting on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Aaron Martinez with AM Engineering for the record. And today I was asked by the Public Works Director to come and kind of discuss with you this particular portion of the project, which is called the Old 8A Transmission Main Loop Line. So, to kind of take a step back, this is the airport water line project, and there has been a request from NDEP to take the phase 2 of this project and initiate it into phase 1. The reason NDEP is asking for that loop is partially due to some fire flow requirements that we're trying to achieve throughout the whole water line itself. So I can kind of go into that whole project if you need, but my presentation, and as it's listed today, is to discuss the old 8A loop portion, but I can give you a history of where that project is today. I'm happy to address that, or I can go directly into this portion that's in front of you today. What would you like?
I would like some information on the fire flow issue. What you had just mentioned.
So there's a requirement that the water line itself has to achieve a 1,500 gallons per minute for a particular amount of time frame. That fire flow requirement is determined from the State Fire Marshal's office, and that requirement is typically based on facilities. So right now, that facility really at this point is just the Lander County Airport. And so those facilities itself is what dictates that 1,500 gallons a minute. Globally, that project just finished its second set of revisions from NDEP. Those were submitted, so right now globally, after today's direction from the commissioners, we could potentially be seeking a bid for the overall project collectively. But today, what is in front of you is the old 8A loop portion. So, bear with me here. So basically, we have the courthouse is sitting right off sheet here around this location here. And the old 8A loop is going to be tying in near the golf course. So you have your existing tanks here, and then from there that water line runs along 305 and essentially goes all the way to the courthouse. And what we're hoping to do is to tie into that old 8A loop right here and bring it and cut it across these parcels right here. And that is kind of the hot button item that the Public Works Director wanted us to bring to your attention. Essentially, the reason that the route for this loop has to come along these particular parcels is really pretty easy. As I had mentioned before, we have the tanks right here, okay? So that's kind of our source for our water. So if we wanted to run a loop from the tanks, anywhere from this location north would be ideal. So as we start to come north, we're essentially on private parcel for the most part. We cut across BLM, and then we start to obtain more private parcels. As our goal was to try to hit Hilltop Road with this loop somewhere in this range here. But as you can see, if we come from our tanks and try to connect to Hilltop, we're cutting across BLM land. The problem with that is that in order to obtain an easement from the BLM, it takes time. With the current development agreement with this particular project, we're under extreme time constraints, so it doesn't really fit our time constraint goals to go through the BLM process. Secondarily, from what I call a 360 impact effect is, if I am the county and I'm gonna install a water line, I want my residents to have a 360-degree impact, meaning if I put a water line here, is there people next to it that are gonna utilize it, expand, create enterprise, create projects, create development. So that 360 impact comes from then placing that water line more on a private type of property versus the BLM that would have to be continually fought against to even access. So with that loop line, right now, again, we have very few limited options with all the BLM parcels in this area. So again, we have that existing 16-inch main line that comes and then it touches the 305 and goes. So we're gonna hook into that 16-inch main and we're gonna come across and essentially cut across these parcels. So that is what's in front of you today is permission to continue this loop to cut across these parcels and hook into the design onto Hilltop. That loop does help create additional fire flow requirements, which helped our water model achieve NDEP's concerns. And so really, if there was any alternatives as to where you could place this loop, in my opinion, there isn't any. If we were to take this loop and say continue to head north and then cut across, it really doesn't do any benefit to us as a water line design because our main line connecting to 305 is just right here. And so our goal is to try to distribute this loop. I'll get that.
Where's Old 8A?
Old 8A is right here.
Oh, okay.
That's Old 8A right there, and that's Hilltop.
So Aaron,
Yes.
initially when this project was brought before us, proposed, the mapping showed the line actually coming down Old 8A.
That's right, and that's this line here.
Right.
I don't want to be confused. Today, we're talking about the old 8A loop. That water line that you're talking down 8A, that is still in play, and that is right here.
So
that's
we're adding another line.
yes, that's right. It's the phase 2 of this line called the loop portion,
Okay.
and that was initiated by NDEP to achieve the fire flow requirements. So that was kind of a phase 2 is how we looked at that, is when the demands were needed, that phase 2 would be initiated. Since NDEP's looked at that, that's actually been requested to bring it into phase 1 to achieve that fire flow.
So I would like to point something out here. First that this is not standard for us to bring this stuff back before you guys, but I did this because I'm a property owner alongside of this, and I don't want there to be any confusion or anybody thinking that I'm doing anything for personal gain. This is an actual budgeted item. The phase 2, we have a budget for this side of it, and it's a safety system for the town of Battle Mountain. And the reason being is from the tanks to town, there's only one water main. So if that water main gets jeopardized in any way, somebody digs through it or anything else, then town loses water until we're back fixed. So that's initially why we started this project. And at the time when we budgeted for all that, I did not own any property here or anything else. So I just want to be very clear with everybody on why we're presenting this back to you, any dealings that I have, and why I would like the commission's blessings on moving forward with this. This is also really important for the airport water main project. I don't foresee it going forward without this being in play where it is. Initially, I went to Aaron and asked him to find an alternate route somewhere else that is not by any property that I own. Find it to go somewhere else. After he looked forward everywhere he could look, the only place you could go is through BLM. I said, well, that, as a taxpayer myself and for the taxpayers of Lander County, I don't think that is a proper way of doing business, is to pay millions of dollars to put a water line in somewhere that can't be accessed by property owners. I have a very small portion of that goes by my property, so I just want all of that to be on the record and be very clear.
Where's your portion for
Right here.
that little lot there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's other people that would benefit too, you just happen to be in the line.
Correct.
Okay, and this is engineered, this is the most efficient.
That's right. This, like I said, if I try to take the line north and it just doesn't do any benefit for the loop.
Okay.
And then when I try to take it south, we just run into huge time constraints, which goes against the development agreement that's kind of forcing us down this road.
So this design originally was the path we're looking at now?
That's correct. This was originally that
When was that done?
in 2000, we've been working on this since 2018. Late 2018.
I have a clarification for legal, Ted. The way this is worded is really an awful general item on the agenda, and yet what we're approving is a very small portion. Is that a problem for us to approve this?
I think this project.
This is the water line alignment technically. It's a small portion. Technically, it would be a modification because you folks have already agreed to that original alignment, and
Right.
this portion here is, I guess, an addition there
I
too.
know, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I thought it was very unclear when I read the agenda item. Because I didn't know, I mean, I knew we'd approved it, I knew we were working on it, so it should have read something to modify what portion we were doing. Is that a problem for us to go ahead with that?
No, I don't believe it's a problem. I believe you can, if you agree to it, to approve it, you approve the water line alignment as portrayed in the meeting today.
Okay,
So I'm still a little bit confused
Thank
because
you.
I wasn't here when this was originally passed. So it was originally passed this way.
Yeah, but since then, Bert bought property.
That part I understand.
Okay.
That part I understand, but it was when it was approved, he wasn't a landowner, so the only thing, my question is, does it have to be a reapproved if it's been approved, and just him stepping forward saying that, so you know now, I own some property there, because it wasn't to behoove him prior, because it's already been, the board has already approved it.
so the disclosure is nice, but why do we have to vote
Yes,
again?
the disclosure is necessary, I believe, but why do we have to re-vote on it?
Yeah, I don't think you have to necessarily vote on it. You can just, your action could be, this has already been approved.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
it's,
would like to, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
is, I think that might be a little misleading. I don't believe it was ever brought before us as far as the loop. And as far as, there's no backup on this to tell us that it was previously approved. My understanding was that it was coming down Old 8A. This
It still does come
alignment,
down.
I know that, but this alignment, this is all new. So I guess my other question is you know, as far as backup, is, you know, do you have proof of easements? Can you run this water line through a private property? I'd like to see the proof of these easements from the road to the road. And my understanding, I guess, is this is south of the property?
Yes.
Okay, this is the south side of everything, so it's adjoining, it's between the private and the BLM.
Correct.
Okay, like I said, do you have easements for this?
So, first to answer the first question is, it was approved as a previous project. As, at the time of the approval of the project, there was no set alignment. We needed an additional loop line that we knew would help our fire flow to the airport. We didn't know how we were gonna get there or how we were gonna achieve that, but we also knew that we needed a loop line to back up, to support town if the main line was ever jeopardized. So that's why this is clarification on where it's going.
Okay, so the loop line itself, but not where it was going to be?
Not the location.
Okay,
correct.
So.
This is as far
I
out
think
as we can, this is as far out as we can go and as close as we can go at the same time to the community of Battle Mountain to provide an additional loop and secure the water, multiple lines for the town of Battle Mountain. It's also as far out as we can go to maximize as much land use for anybody that would like to hook to it without going into BLM. There is no really other line that we can take outside of this that will achieve the fire flows for the airport. So that's why this line was picked where it's at. And either side, if you went to either side, it would have to go down through them parcels at some point. As far as easements, I'll let Aaron speak on that. I know that there are some utility easements out there, but I know that Aaron and AM Engineering's been looking into.
So, yeah, on the easement side, the Lander County Surveyor, High Desert Engineering, Bob Morley, is currently obtaining all of those easements. And the ones that we do not have are in this parcel here and in this parcel here. Those agreements are being established currently to then be proposed to those particular landowners. The existing easements across the majority of these portions here are actually in place though. So what we're looking at here, and you're exactly right, this exact alignment here was never solidified in the original project acceptance by the commission, so I want to make sure that's extremely clear. We had the loop line as a hypothetical phase 2 if ever needed, but then it came as a requirement, and so then we have now shifted gears into developing a real design. You can see this is all aerial drone surveys, so we've droned everything to create a stitch photogrammetry set. We've done hard survey on everything. We've been locating property corners. So literally, as all these decisions have been developing, we're acting on them in order to develop all the necessary requirements to get accepted by NDEP. NDEP will not accept the alignment unless it has easements and dedication from the private parcel owner. So your sentiments are exactly correct, and in terms of those processes and where they are, we're probably 90% through the development of all those easements through those private property owners. I've been in contact specifically with each one of them directly prior to even starting this survey and prior to even starting all the design, because we had to understand if this was even a feasible route theoretically from the private landowner perspective. So Mr. Ramos and his office gave us the direction to get the loop done, but they had no way of understanding where or how we were going to place that line. This line is strictly placed on locality and time frame. And so easements, yes, they will all be in place prior to the execution by NDEP, or it won't be executed.
Aaron, aside from Bert, who are the other owners out in this?
We have Bert, can you remind me their names? Mr. Black, what is this gentleman here owns these three?
Bart Negro.
Negro, thank you. And
Nevada Lands.
Nevada Lands is here, and I have his.
And then Jay Wendell.
Thank you, Mr. Wendell. That's right.
And you're only waiting for the easements from who?
This easement from this parcel here, which I believe is Mr. Negro's, and
No.
Battle Mountain Land Company here, which is a
Jay Wendell's a
excuse me, and then the Battle Mountain Land Company here, which is a part of a development agreement contract, and they are also in agreement with that easement.
Okay,
I
well, we
guess
have,
I'd like to, I'm sorry, Patsy.
I was just gonna say, we have the clarification from our attorney, because when it says the water line alignment, so what we're looking at is the modification of the loop line, which went from phase 2 to phase 1 because of NDVP, so we might as well go ahead with the motion if that's what you'd like to do to approve this.
Well, I'm just gonna say that I'd like to see the agreements and the easements before we approve this,
Well,
because,
Judy, I understand where you're coming from, but the bottom line is when we approve a project, they do what they do, and all those smaller things don't come back to us.
Right.
If they had a problem and we had to redo something, then it would come back in. But, I don't understand holding up for something that's part of their business. And we do have, just a minute, and I'll open it for public comment for you, thank you. Go ahead.
I have nothing else. It's,
Okay, I'll open it up for public comment. Donnie, you had something, come on up.
you have to come up.
Well, we got a phone call for Aaron here, and other than that, we didn't know anything. We own private property down that, and we're against putting this water line down the road. And it's to benefit this man here. Why can't you put it on the north side, down Sheep Creek, or down, Sheep Creek?
Right here? You're talking this line here? Down Sheep Creek
No,
Road?
it'd be Mount Lewis.
Now let's drive.
This Sheep Creek Road right here, right?
Okay, where's our parcel? Which Negro?
Oh, that's you right here.
No, that's Wennels.
Okay, then you're
The
next
first
though,
two.
right? You own the 2 parcels?
No, we own 4.
4? Okay. Yeah, these are you here.
But we're against it. My brother and I are against the water line going on the south side for personal gain. I'd rather see it go down the north side where you're gonna pick up people, there's a lot of land in there that you can pick it up.
So I would like to be very clear on the personal gain, comments that are getting thrown around here. The amount of property that it crosses, and to my understanding, conversation with Aaron here is that Bart was in favor of it.
Yeah, that's why
We discussed it
who
after.
are you, sir?
I'm Donald Negro, Bart's partner.
Okay, 'cause
Brother.
I spoke to him and he had given us authorization to proceed with contractual creation in order to establish that easement, so
He
I'm
didn't
not,
know where this line was going.
yeah, we
Yeah,
actually
phone
met.
And I don't think that's true as far as go ahead with contractual.
And a phone call to somebody at, I don't know what time you called him, is not
During-
sufficient.
Yeah.
In the backup, I looked at the pictures, I don't know who drew them, but it's wrong.
Okay, I have something to say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but while we're throwing all of this around, if we don't, so there's no pointing fingers or doing any of this, we obviously have an issue. My suggestion is we wait until we have the permission to go any further, and aside of any personal pointing of fingers of whomever is absolutely not necessary, I'd like to see the easements, if they're going to be there. Before we go any further, I wanna make sure that everybody is, that Mr. Negro also, Bart also, we have the paper and documents that we need before we go any further, and that's just to prevent any of this. And
If
I
we
mean-
don't approve it, they can't move forward.
but if they are not in agreement of it, we can't move forward either.
Oh, yes, we
You
can.
know, so let's make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row and try to get this situated, the situation fixed first.
So
If they- Go ahead.
I believe that Aaron was pointing out that none of this project cannot go forward through NDEP without everybody's approval to begin with. Is what I'm asking for, is the board's approval to move forward with this project. And the reasons that I brought this forward is typically we would not bring this forward, we would go forward with our project just as we have done with numerous other projects. But for the reasons that are exactly in this meeting, of finger pointing and personal gain and false accusations here, that's why I brought this
Which
before
and I understand, and I
this
know
board.
that, and it's none of this kind of stuff is necessary to be saying about anyone. I would like just to see the cut and dry that the Negros agree to this or they don't agree to it. Has truly nothing to do with you, it has to do with this, and like to go forward once we have that information. Either way, you're at a stalemate. I mean, so it would be best to make sure that we have what we need, and then go forward on voting on it. Because then it alleviates the tension of voting on it, and them they're saying, no, we're not doing it, and everybody being angry and pointing fingers. So truly, I believe, just halt, let's make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row, and then come back. And I know it needs to be done, and I respect that, and I just don't wanna hear any of the back and forth.
Well, I agree.
Truly,
That's why I think
I understand that, so why don't we table this, make sure we have everything that we need, and then come back and get it figured out, cause if they're saying absolutely not,
for sure.
then it's of no use to be sitting here arguing anyway.
And that's why, so just to be clear here, that is why I put this on the agenda for multiple reasons, but because I don't wanna waste the county's money and having AM Engineering going out there doing the surveying, putting their time in, filing the paperwork and moving forward. When Aaron came back to me and said that Bart had said no problem, that he agreed with it, that things were moving forward, I said, well, then it's time to put it on the agenda for the commission, for us to be in public, for everybody to see. And that's where we stand today.
So,
Okay, but as far as the commission's determination on it, even if we did say, let's go forward, you're still in the same boat that you are now. Going forward, with or without us, still means you have your work to do and you need the agreement.
Exactly.
So, without any action from this board, continue on what you were doing, and if there's other problems and has to come before us legally, then we'll take care of it. Otherwise, at this point, no action, do what you were doing, and continue on unless you have some other concerns.
And so
okay?
the reason I wanted to proceed forward this way is I didn't wanna waste the county's money in doing so, that's why, so.
We understand why, and we're not taking any action at this time.
Mr. Martinez, when did you start on this real line, or this loop?
The old 8A loop. I couldn't give you an exact day. I'm not sure. I couldn't answer that offhand.
I mean, how long have you been working on it? We haven't been
I've
getting
been
any.
working on this project since
No, I know
late
that.
2018.
No, but this one in particular, because I know, we haven't gotten any, really a lot of, invoices for you until just the last couple of months. So that's what I was just curious, is this particular alignment deal, how long have you been working on that?
I'm not sure.
I mean, can you guesstimate?
No, I cannot.
Really?
No, I really can't. I'm not sure how long. I mean, I'd love to. I can get back to you on that.
Could you please? I would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And my recommendation is you get hold of Nevada Land, because they're not aware of this project. Or
but we don't do that, they do that, that's what
We
they're
don't
paid to do.
micromanage, at least most of us don't micromanage.
Enough, no, guys, let's not do this. Just, before this escalates to something unnecessary. You guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are at number 11, Commissioners. For discussion and possible action to approve or disapprove the donation of a retired Lander County vehicle as the grand prize to the Christ Lutheran Church and Preschool for their annual fundraiser, and if approved, to adopt resolution 2019-14 and authorize the chair to sign.
You have a vehicle picked out?
Yes,
Okay.
so, I spoke with Bert, Public Works Director, we have a vehicle that was in line for survey, surplus, and here we are.
Okay, I have a question before we begin, thank you. And we certainly understand the need, and we read the backup of why you've always had one and now you don't have one. And I understand that, but I have a real concern with the county giving vehicles that is not to another county entity, and whether we can actually do that if it's not a government entity.
So they are, you wanna talk?
They are a 501c3, and we are able to do it if we put the proper terminology in a resolution, and that's attached.
With our equipment, we can actually do that. I didn't think we could do equipment
Yes, if,
on a 501c3, and we can't.
Commissioner, if you determine first and the
Okay,
resolution
you're
has
okay
that
with the
language,
equipment?
it has reached the end of its useful life and will be used, it will provide a substantial benefit to the inhabitants of Lander County. Those are the two
Okay, thank you, I need that
things that
clarification.
you have to determine as
Yeah.
board.
Because that's what was done with the racetrack with equipment as well, correct?
No.
No,
A little
That
different.
was different?
no,
Okay.
that's different. They're not
Okay.
a 501c3.
Oh, that's right.
And
I can't believe I even just said that.
And
After all of that, sorry.
Our equipment was not the end of its life either. So if it's the end of its life and can't be used, I'm not sure that that's something that we want to give away. If we don't, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm thinking, what is our liability when we have something we're saying it's at the end of its life?
So it'll be checked out by the mechanics in the county and assured that it's in good working order before it gets surplused out.
Marie,
We're not selling it, Commissioner, they're accepting it,
as is.
as is, and what
And
they
after
do
100
with it is their liability, not ours.
Marie,
Yes.
you guys depend on this raffle every year, don't you?
We do. It's Marie Benson, Christ Lutheran Preschool. Yes, we do. This is our big fundraiser every year that we have. We also do a yard sale and a t-shirt sale, but this is the biggest one that we do every single year. It helps with tuition assistance and also costs of keeping the preschool running, and it actually has helped with keeping the tuition low too, because we have not raised tuition since 2011 or 2012, because we are able to use what we make on this fundraiser to help with that tuition cost.
Could you explain why you came to the county?
We normally ask Newmont for a retired vehicle for this fundraiser, and they have been able to do that for us. And since they have done the joint venture, we were told that they were not sure if they were going to be able to help us with that.
So
It
you,
kinda
did
caught
you
you
go
off
to
guard.
them, or,
We did go to them.
and they just weren't sure?
Yeah, they said that with the joint venture, that they can try, but there's not, they weren't sure if they could do it.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the donation of a retired Lander County vehicle as a grand prize to the Christ Lutheran Church preschool for their annual fundraiser, and adopt resolution 2019-14. Authorize the chair to sign.
I'll second.
We have to read this
We have to read the
resolution.
whole resolution.
Art, you get to read it.
You get to read it.
I am the director. The title or the whole thing?
The whole resolution.
Okay. Summary of resolution to donate the surplus property, one vehicle to the Christ Lutheran Church and Preschool, whereas Nevada Revised Statute 244.1505 states expenditure of public money, grant of public money, and donation of certain property to certain nonprofit organizations or governmental entities, and whereas the Board of Lander County Commissioners hereby determines that one vehicle, a 2007 GMC extended cab pickup VIN number 1GTHK29K77E542741 is no longer of any value to Lander County and to have reached the end of its useful life, and whereas a Lander County Public Works officer has determined this vehicle is no longer of any value to Lander County and does not serve any useful function and is not required for effective continual operation Lander County or Lander County Public Works, and whereas for the reasons which were supported by continuous non-use, upkeep, storage, and use of the vehicle and absence of expected use in the foreseeable future, Lander County hereby determines the vehicle a 2007 GMC extended cab pickup VIN number 1GTHK29K77E542741 to be deemed surplus property and to have reached the end of its useful life, and whereas Christ Lutheran Church and Preschool, a registered 501c3 in good standing, has expressed great interest in obtaining the vehicle as a donation will provide a substantial benefit to the inhabitants of Lander County. Now therefore be it resolved, the Lander County Board of Commissioners hereby authorize all steps necessary for the transaction, including signing the certificate of title for transfer to the Christ Lutheran Church and preschool. And thank you for coming to us, Marie. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
So I seconded.
Thank you. Art made the motion for resolution 2019-14, and Kathy seconded that. Is there any other discussion?
I have a comment.
Yes, Sadie.
Sadie Sullivan, I think this is a very good thing, and my daughter went there many moons ago. My only question would be is if to make sure that maybe a licensed mechanic sign off to make sure that there are no issues, so then that covers the liability. That's the only thing. Just if it gets out into our community and something was to happen, I would just hate to see anything like that. So my question was just whether or not a licensed garage could sign off on that. That's all.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. Thank you, Sadie.
We can do that, yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, and that passes unanimously. Number 12, correspondence. Correspondence reports, potential upcoming agenda items.
So we'll bring back the rec center free day for all. We do have the 2 public hearings coming up. My evaluation will be on the next one, and then the NACO presentation will be the 19th.
Be when?
We're gonna take NACO off totally.
Totally off?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so there will be no NACO presentation this year.
No, they have a conflict.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm saying, well, December's the end of the year.
The
so
5th
maybe-
and the 19th both, it's not working out.
Right, okay, so that will come
We'll
off.
have to postpone it again.
All right.
I have a question on the census committees that everybody's talking about, and they're encouraging counties to do census committees so that we're on target to make sure everything is fully covered and we get all the people counted properly, and I've been a little bit confused, on that, to be truthfully. The governor has appointed somebody who's actually in charge of that, and they're, and I can give you the name on it, but I'm wondering, what we really are expected to do as a county, because apparently they're pushing the counties to oversee it. I'm going, the federal government has always done this. They qualify all their census takers and they go out. But I guess we missed so many people, they wanted some type of a committee that the county is overseeing to say, we think you missed this part over here, more hands-on for a local, I guess. So anyway, I would like us to look into it and see if it's something we need to get on the agenda, because apparently the other counties have.
This
Yeah.
is a federal thing.
It's Census
The
220,
county-
I
The
don't
state
know.
doesn't have jurisdiction. I mean, this is a discretionary move, correct?
Well, yeah, it's not mandatory.
Right.
But I
It's
think
just a
we should
federal-
discuss it to see what we'd like to do, that's what I'm
I
saying.
just wanted to put it in that limelight.
Yeah, we're certainly not putting out that we're gonna do it, no.
Right, we don't,
We may decide not to do it.
right, you
But-
guys have to
But
make
because
that
the
decision.
governor has asked us, I think we should certainly approach it and discuss it.
The governor, Sisolak, asked us to do something?
No, he appointed somebody in charge of the 2020 census that has asked all the counties to do it. In fact, they will come before us if we invite them.
Well, I can't think of anything right now, but I'm sure after I go home, I'll give you a call.
Right. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Nope, cannot adjourn, I'm sorry.
Oh, public comment.
I need public comment.
Sorry.
One more time. Public comment. For non-agenda items only, persons are invited to submit comments in writing and/or attend and make comments on any non-agenda item at the board meeting, if any, and discussion of those comments at the discretion of the board. All public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person, again at the discretion of the board. Reasonable restrictions may be placed on public comments based upon time, place, and manner. The public comment based upon viewpoint may not be restricted. Any public comment? Hearing none?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
You talking about?
And again, we all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'll meet you there.
Keith, do you have a few minutes for me?
We're all
I
done.
do.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.